That is why there's so many questions and answers given in the name of religion, and there's very little efforts to make changes in the right direction. I leave this with myself and with you for consideration as we embark on a long series of discussing Abraham. Not to forget that he was an intelligent man. He was a very, very wise man. Let us use this opportunity to reflect on life and make commitments and resolutions that we can prevent the wrath of Allah from falling upon us because of what we have failed to do all these years in our lives. And as we say in the Qur'anic expression, Wallahu Ghafur Rahim. Allah is always full of forgiveness for those who want it and full of protection for those who seek it. We will not achieve the forgiveness if we don't seek to protect ourselves from what we failed to do and did not do, or the wrongs that we did and continue to do. فَاسْتَغْفِرُوهُ إِنَّهُ هُوَ الْغَفُورُ الرَّحِيمُ. Brothers and sisters, to recap very, very briefly, I told you and myself that Abraham tried to tickle the minds of his society, to let them know that life must be lived on the foundations of sense, of intelligence, of practicality. Let me repeat those words. These are mighty boulders. Sense, intelligence, practicality, results. These are the foundations of the guidance of Allah throughout the Qur'an. These are the foundations. You want to know if you are guided? Use your senses with the sense of divine guidance, because you don't have to guess if you're guided. There's no guesswork here. You don't have to assume. You can do the math. You can see the results. If you are doing something all these years in your life, where's the sense in it? Where's the intelligence in it? Where's the practicality in it? Where's the usefulness in it? Where's the evidence that it has benefited you? Is it possible that you and I could be doing things that really are not what divine guidance is all about? Doing something for years is no evidence to prove that that thing is right. The result that matters. The result that matters. And Abraham challenged his community to consider what they were doing. And he asked them, what you have been doing, do you get any voice from it? Have your lives been speaking to you? These tamathil and these asnam, they are your lives. Have they been speaking to you? If your life speaks to you and my life speaks to me, that'll be a good thing. Because then I'll have an opportunity to reevaluate the way I've been living or I lived last week. But if I get no speech from the way I live, then it's quite possible I do the same thing this week as I did last week, and more than likely I'll do the same thing the next week. So this is an important fact of life that Allah has taught us through His prophets. You don't have to be somebody with a PhD. You don't have to be a nuclear scientist. You don't have to be a sophisticated individual. Lots of these sophistications have become barriers to our foresight and insight. What you need to do is to do like Abraham. Question what you are doing. Question what you are brought up to do. Question what you see society doing in the name of God. And look for the results. I know very well that if you are a close friend of somebody who's exceptional in a particular direction, and you spend so much of time with that individual, it's more than likely, as we say in English, some of that glare, that brightness, some of those skills will rub onto you and onto me. The Qur'an wants you and me to weigh our lives, to constantly do this. Evaluate it. Don't go about living this life, you're doing this for blessings, and you're doing this for blessings, and you're doing that for blessings. There is no support for this kind of habit or concept in the Qur'an. There is support outside, but not in the Qur'an. Because what is blessings? Ask the Arabs who know their language. Ask the Arabs who know their language. Barakatun means growth. Baraka means growth, development, enhancement, elevation, prosperity. That's the meaning of barakah. Barakah doesn't mean to do the same thing for 1,000 days and you see no growth. You see no progress. You see no enhancement. You see no development. You see no elevation. And then what you conclude? You say, this is my fate. This is my destiny. God wrote it for me like that. If God wanted, I would have been a scholar of Qur'an. If God wanted, I would have been a healthy person. If God wanted, I would have owned a good house. If God wanted, I would have owned a car. If God wanted, we would have been leaders of the land. God? Who tells you that Allah interferes in human life? Allah doesn't interfere in our life. He sets rules and guidelines that governs the nature of our world. We are the ones who interfere in our own lives or fail to interfere. Chapter 53, verse 39, in conclusion. وَإِنْ لَيْسَ لِلْإِنسَانِ إِلَّا مَا سَعَى وَأَنَّ سَعْيَهُ سَوْفَ يُرَى. Human beings will achieve their goals that they worked very, very hard for. And whatever they work very hard for will soon be seen. You can see what we've been working hard for as a religious community. We work very hard to build masjids. So you see the masjids there. And we're working harder to build more masjids that you can see. And we tell the people, if you build masjid, you will go to paradise. You will get a palace in paradise. And jokingly I say to them, I say, you're telling people they will get a palace in paradise and you haven't given them what it takes to get the visa yet. How can you go to paradise and you don't get the visa yet? Nothing of this is established that if you help to build a masjid, you're going to go to paradise. This is a nice way of picking the pocket of people. And a masjid, by the way, there are two concepts to it. There are two concepts to it. One is what you know as a physical structure that Muslims are building all over this world with a dome. You ask them why you do that, they don't know. With minarets. You ask them why you do that, they don't know. And these minarets sometimes cost $100,000 and more.